She smiled through 28 years of marriage, until her husband shattered their family with a single announcement at their daughter's graduation. But what he didn't know was that the woman he underestimated had already planned her escape. Down to the last penny. This isn't just a story of betrayal. It's a story of revenge, reinvention, and reclaiming power. When the man who thought he had everything loses it all, who wins? Stay with us. This ending is just the beginning. Diana folded her arms tightly across her chest. My sister-in-law seems to be the only rational person in this scenario. Her voice was cold, clipped. Gregory stood by the fireplace, jaw tight, arms hanging uselessly by his side. You're the one who created this mess, Gregory, she added, her glare unforgiving. I remained seated, watching the drama unfold like an outsider to my own life. For years, I had played the peacemaker, the one who smoothed over conflicts and kept everyone happy, at my own expense. That role had become exhausting. I had finally set it down. The accounts will remain frozen until the preliminary hearing, I said calmly. That's in 3 days. The judge will determine appropriate asset division at that time. 3 days? Gregory sputtered. What am I supposed to do for 3 days? You have your account, I reminded him, my tone flat. The one you've been funneling money into for the past year, that should be sufficient. Cassandra's head whipped toward him. You have a separate account? How much is it? The air shifted. An interesting dynamic was emerging. Gregory hadn't just lied to me. He hadn't been entirely forthcoming with her either. The first visible crack in their united front. He ignored her question, choosing instead to play the victim. This is vindictive, Bianca. This isn't like you. Then perhaps, I replied. You never really knew me. Just as I never really knew you. Amelia turned to Cassandra, her voice sharp with restrained fury. Did you know he was going to announce it like that? At my graduation. Celebration? Cassandra had the decency to look ashamed. I thought he was going to talk to your mother privately. The announcement today was unexpected. Gregory shot her a betrayed look. The cracks were growing deeper. I think you both should leave, Diana said firmly. You've upset Amelia enough for one day. Amelia, Gregory began, desperate. Now. You understand that relationships change, don't you? Sometimes people grow apart. My daughter's face hardened in a way I had never seen before. What I understand, she said icily, is that you're a coward who couldn't even give Mom the dignity of a private conversation. What I understand is that you were stealing from our family while I was working 2 jobs to help pay for my textbooks, because you said money was tight. Amelia, that's not how it was. Gregory paled. It's exactly how it was, she cut him off. Please leave, Dad. I can't look at you right now. The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, Gregory turned to go, Cassandra trailing behind. At the door, he paused and looked back at me. This isn't over, Bianca. I'll fight you on this. I met his gaze steadily. You're welcome to try. After they left, Amelia collapsed, next to me on the sofa, tears streaming down her face. I've never talked to Dad like that. I wrapped my arm around her. Sometimes standing up for what's right is painful. Diana returned with fresh glasses of wine. To new beginnings, she said, raising her glass. Indeed, I murmured, clinking mine gently against hers. This ending, I realized, was just the beginning of something entirely new. The preliminary hearing took place in a modest courtroom on a rainy Tuesday morning. The clouds mirrored the tension that clung to the air like static. I arrived with my attorney, Philip, a calm, calculating man with decades of experience in family law. Gregory showed up minutes later, clearly agitated, accompanied by a young associate from a corporate law firm. He looked out of place, unprepared for the emotional terrain of family court. Gregory avoided eye contact as we waited for the judge to arrive. His lawyer shuffled nervously through papers while mine sat back, composed and ready. When the judge entered, the room settled into silence. She was an older woman with sharp eyes and an air of no-nonsense authority. She adjusted her glasses and glanced at the documents before her. This prenuptial agreement appears to be in order, she said, flipping through the pages. Do you contest its validity? Gregory's lawyer cleared his throat. Your Honor, we believe the agreement has expired due to the length of time that has passed since it was signed. The judge raised a brow. Section 18 clearly states that the duration of the agreement extends through the term of the marriage, plus any legal proceedings resulting from its dissolution. There is no expiration date indicated. Gregory leaned in to whisper something, urgently to his lawyer, whose face paled as he scanned the clause. Furthermore, the judge continued, turning another page, evidence of systematic fund transfers appears to violate the financial disclosure requirements outlined in Section 23. Her tone sharpened. I am ruling to maintain the freeze on all joint accounts pending full financial discovery. Mr. Caldwell's account will remain accessible to him. Gregory tensed beside his lawyer. The family home, the judge added, will remain in Mrs. Caldwell's possession during proceedings, as stipulated in the prenuptial agreement's infidelity clause. This is outrageous, Gregory muttered, loud enough for me to hear. The judge looked over her glasses at him. Mr. Caldwell, I suggest you review the agreement you signed more carefully. This court will reconvene in 30 days for the full hearing after discovery is complete. I stood as the judge exited the courtroom. Gregory caught up to me in the hallway, desperation tugging at his features. Bianca, please. We need to talk about this reasonably. 28 years together. That has to count for something. It did, I replied quietly. It counted for everything, until you decided it didn't. I turned and walked away, leaving him standing alone in the courthouse corridor, his confident posture finally crumbling under the weight of his own choices. Word spread quickly. Our social circle, once a source of support, became a sea of whispered conversations and passive-aggressive phone calls. Some friends called to offer comfort. Others just wanted details. I offered none. Gregory and I are separating, I would say. These things happen. But behind the scenes, Gregory's carefully cultivated image of a devoted family man was unraveling. The frozen accounts meant he couldn't follow through on promises made to Cassandra. Their planned beachfront property fell through. The deposit on the luxury car he wanted was forfeited. 2 weeks later, Diana called me, her voice tinged with amusement. Have you heard the latest? Cassandra moved out already. I wasn't entirely surprised. That was fast. She found out Gregory's business isn't doing as well as he claimed. The savings account he bragged about? Mostly smoke and mirrors. She told her friend Jennifer, I didn't sign up to date a man with financial problems. I couldn't help but laugh. Gregory had always been good at constructing illusions of stability, success, and control. But illusions don't survive the storm of truth. Meanwhile, I was quietly rebuilding. The separate savings I'd maintained gave me freedom Gregory hadn't anticipated. I rented a small office space downtown and launched something I had dreamed about for years, a financial consultancy for women navigating major life transitions, divorce, widowhood, career shifts. My first clients were 2 women referred by friends. Word of mouth did the rest. The work was rewarding in ways my corporate job had never been. I wasn't just helping people, I was empowering them. Amelia, now working at a marketing firm in Charleston, called often. I'm so proud of you. Mom, she said one evening, you're helping people at their lowest point. That's powerful. I'm just doing what I wish someone had done for me, I replied. Preparing women for what might come, helping them secure what's theirs. It felt good, being needed for my expertise, not my caregiving. It felt new, and it felt right. The final divorce hearing fell ironically on what would have been our 29th wedding anniversary. The symbolism wasn't lost on me. Nearly 3 decades together, and here we were, ending it in a courtroom instead of celebrating in the place where we once exchanged vows. Gregory looked worn. The stress had aged him in just a few months. His tailored suit hung looser, his once slicked hair now unkempt. I had heard whispers that his business was faltering without my financial oversight, his carefully managed image cracking under scrutiny. Cassandra was long gone, reportedly dating a real estate developer from Savannah. Most of our mutual friends had quietly distanced themselves from Gregory after learning the truth. How he had siphoned money from our accounts, blindsided me at Amelia's graduation, and lied to everyone, including Cassandra. The hearing itself was swift and clinical. The judge upheld the prenuptial agreement in its entirety. Gregory left with his possessions, his floundering business, and the money in his private account, what remained after paying his overpriced attorney, that is. It was barely enough to cover a security deposit on a modest apartment. I retained ownership of our home, my retirement accounts, and 70% of our joint investments, as clearly outlined in the agreement Gregory had once insisted on to protect himself. The irony was delicious. The very document meant to shield him became the sword that cut him loose. As I walked out of the courtroom, I felt lighter than I had in years. The chapter was closed. Finally. Gregory caught up to me just outside the courthouse doors, rain drizzling, onto the concrete like punctuation. "I made a terrible mistake," he said quietly, eyes filled with something close to sincerity. "Is there any chance we could—" "No," I said, soft but resolute. "That door is closed." He nodded slowly. "I understand. I hope you find happiness, Bianca. You deserve it." For the first time in a very long time, I believed he meant it. 6 months later, Caldwell Financial Transitions was thriving. What had started as a tiny one-room office now occupied a full floor in a historic downtown building. I had hired 2 associates, both women with backgrounds in finance and social work, who shared my vision of empowering women through knowledge and independence. We offered workshops, one-on-one consultations, and digital resources. We helped women read the fine print, track hidden assets, and reclaim their voices. Our waiting list grew by the week. Amelia visited often, full of pride and admiration. One day, as we shared coffee in my office overlooking the city skyline, she said, "You know what's ironic? If Dad had been honest from the start, he might have kept half of everything." "Sometimes people can't see past what they want in the moment," I replied. "He gambled and he lost." I thought back to the envelope I had handed Gregory in that restaurant, the one he never expected. It hadn't just been an escape plan. It had been my rebirth, a declaration that I was no longer willing to be invisible in my own life. I had once defined myself as Gregory's wife, Amelia's mother, the peacekeeper, the planner, the one who filled everyone else's cup until mine was empty. But now I was something more, a mentor, a business owner, an advocate. The betrayal had wounded me, yes, but it had also awakened something I hadn't known I was missing: strength, purpose, and most importantly, myself. As Amelia leaned in to hug me goodbye, I whispered, "Tell the truth, always, even when it's hard." She smiled. "I learned that from you." And just like that, I knew this wasn't just the end of a story. It was the beginning of one, mine.